Hello out there, and welcome to part 3 of our conversation with StuffForGreeks.com founder Ethan King. Today on the podcast, we're going to figure out Ethan's hiring process and how to utilize it, how to be the driver of our own goals, and we're going to figure out how Sir Richard Branson figures into all this. Stick around for the Peak Performers Podcast.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
How do you find some of your best employees?
Yeah, great question. Actually, very recently, within the past, I guess we discovered it about 2 years ago, we discovered this service called Hireology. And it has been a game changer when it comes to hiring. But what they do is, actually, let me back up a little bit and I'll get back to Hireology. First, let's talk about top grading. There's this book out there. It's thicker than the Bible. It's called Top Grading. There's a shorter version of it, but there's also a book called Who, WHO, that's based on top grading. Anyway, the whole premise of top grading is when you interview, you're really digging into a person's past and their behavior throughout high school, college, and all previous jobs. And what if you went back and asked their last employer about them, what would that employer say? And it's just really, really digging into people's past behavior. And it's a very long process, a very long method, but it is very solid in getting the right employees. Well, Hireology is based on top grading, but what they do is you sign up for the service, and I think it was maybe $800 to $1,000 a year or something. They may have had an EO discount or something, but
and for you listening that you don't understand EO is Entrepreneurs Organization.
But basically, they take the Hireology and incorporate it into their software, and they not only do they broadcast your job postings out to all the different services for you, all the best ones, but then they also kind of outline that they have a screening test, and then it goes through each phase of the hiring process. If the person passes the screening test with a certain percentage, then you can contact them for an interview. They give you some sample interview questions that are based on top grading and are also relevant to the position. And then you have interview 2, interview 3, and it just really makes the process super dead simple, and it's top grading.
Couple things that I've put into my hiring process is when I put out a job post, I put something specific in the post that says, when you respond to this, please reply in the subject line with "the eagle has landed" or something unique, so they actually look at it. And then when I have a chance to sit down and actually go through the interview questions, I make sure that I have an interview question, at least one, that refers back to each of my core values. So I want to know, what is their views around doing the right thing? And, one of the questions I generally ask is, you find out that an employee is stealing and you're the only one that knows. What do you do?
That's
we all know, right? We all know what the right thing to do, but it's sometimes not easy to do. Or, you've got a situation where you've promised an client X, and now it's going to cost the company $1,000 more in order to deliver that product or service to the client. What do you do?
Yeah, that's great. Another thing I would say is that you don't want to rely on just interview questions, of course. When you're hiring someone, give them a task to complete that is relevant to what they're doing. I mean, actions speak louder than words. If someone can't do that task, then there's no point in even moving further. But you make a great point in that you want to hire for culture fit first and skills second.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that the culture is there, and there are some questions that you can ask that are based around your culture. The other thing that I do, I always walk, if they're local, and this is not going to be a virtual position, I always walk them to their car because I want to see what their car looks like. Not what type of car they have, not how expensive it is or anything else. I want to know how they keep it. Inside that car, is it clean and neat, or is there trash thrown all about?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I'm chuckling about that because very recently we were hiring for a position, and the guy, not only was he late, he was racing to get to the interview, racing through the parking lot, and got there like a minute late. And because of that, he parked so crooked, like he was taking up another parking spot and his car was crooked. And because of that, I said, I don't even want to talk to him. Because if you can't even park straight, then what else? That's the simplest task in the world, right?
Yep.
And I could see him coming in the door, and I'm like, this dude doesn't even park straight, and he's running late. There's no point in me talking to him. He's not going to work here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you're either early or late. There is no on time.
Right.
I am big at that. And the other thing that I love doing with interview questions is really start to dig down. You ask a question and then dig deeper. Why was that important? What did that mean? Tell me more. And really just let them keep going. And it's kind of like peeling the onion back, right? It's like, what's most important? What did you like about your job? Why did you like that most about your job? Tell me more about that. What didn't you like? So really dig in versus just ask a question to get the answer to check the box.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite interview questions is, it comes as a pair. So if you had a magic wand, what would you change about the last company that you worked for?
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
And then, but get this, that's already tough. But then I come back and I say, okay, your last manager, what was his name? Bob. If I went to Bob and asked him about you, if he had a magic wand, what would he change about you? What would his answer be?
I was thinking of the last guy that I worked for is 18 years ago. And he fired me 2 or 3 times. He hit me 2 or 3 times. This was back in the day where you could just guys would be guys. It was like, you pissed me off. Let me smack you in the arm. That was great. Yeah, it was funny. He fired me. I never quit. Well, I never left. It was like, it's like I actually had to leave in order for it to be final, right? So I'll just keep staying. And he goes, you just pissed me off. He goes, I just can't get rid of you because you have like 10 ideas and 8 of them I hate. They're stupid. He goes, but 2 of them are brilliant. And I have no idea what one is going to be which. He asked me one day, we were traveling. We're consultants. We travel all over the world. He goes, do you have any, he's the chairman. I was a AVP at the time. He was chairman of the company. He goes, do you have any idea who spends the most amount of money in this company? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty simple. You. He goes, that wasn't the question. I'm like, well, if you ask a better question, you might get a better response.
Right.
He's like, what am I going to do with you? He goes, you're second. I'm like, well, I really value our clients. I don't want to make sure that they get the absolute best. He goes, I have no idea he literally had no idea what to do with me. I just, in any relationship, and this is a good segue. In any relationship, there's going to be somebody that's in charge of that relationship. There's going to be someone in charge of your day. There's going to be someone in charge of your agenda. You were either going to do your agenda, do your thing, do your important items each day, or someone is going to impose something on you. Sometimes it's a boss, sometimes it's a client, sometimes it's just the internet and cat videos. Make sure that you are driving your vehicle, you're driving your bus, and that you're the person in charge of your life and your business. Because if not, somebody else will come in and they'll direct you as soon as they see a weakness there, and they'll start driving your vehicle.
That's exactly right, Thor. And that's what email is. Email is other people putting stuff on your to-do list.
Yeah.
So you have to control your inbox. And one little quick email hack that I use is very simple, but just take that email icon on your iPhone or on your phone, and first of all, turn off all notifications. You never want to get email notifications, not even the little red bubble that tells you the number of emails you have. Turn that off too. Then take the mail icon off of your home screen, put it like 4 pages of apps back in the back inside of a subfolder so that you have to do several swipes to get to it. And that alone will just, it'll decrease the urge for you to check it all the time. And it'll be a huge time saver. Like, you need to check email. You control when you check email. You go in at a specific time and you check it and you're done with it. And then you get back to your focus tasks.
That's an excellent idea, because now I have space on my home screen for Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, do the same thing with those.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a great idea. I had not heard that. That is really, really good. One of the things that I do is I don't check email. I process email. I process it 3 times a day. And I go in for 30 minutes and every single email gets addressed. It either gets deleted, it gets forwarded to somebody else. If it's something that takes more than 4 minutes, it goes on my schedule to actually get completed. Actually gets scheduled. And I cannot leave anything in the inbox, period. Even if it has to be done, it goes into a folder and then it gets scheduled. And the way I treat it is I treat it like the hot blonde in the corner at the bar, meaning that it's closing time. And if you don't go up and do something with her right now, say hello, she's going to be gone out of your life forever. You've got to take action on those emails. Don't let them sit around in your inbox and go, I'll get to it tomorrow, because she's not going to be there tomorrow. You've got to take action now.
I like that.
Yeah, forget the zero inbox routine. This is the hot blonde routine. Or brunette or whatever works for you.
Right.
Man, we are getting at the end of our show, man. We could go on for hours and hours. If you had an hour to interview someone, dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you ask him or her?
It would probably be Richard Branson. So Sir Richard Branson, mega billionaire, several businesses with Virgin, and is one of my biggest role models. I know a lot of people that actually know him, so I guess I kind of know him second, what do they call that, 6 degrees of separation. So
yeah.
I'm 2 degrees off knowing him. You know, I would just ask him, how do you do it all? Because you hear so many people talk about focusing on one thing at a time, yet he has like 100 different brands, 100 different businesses. They're all super successful. He's always on like Necker Island or doing crazy stuff. And I'm like, how do you get it all done and motivate other people to run all these businesses for you? I just want to learn some more about the psychology behind that.
I would love to sit down with Sir Richard as well.
Accountability. Let's talk about it. Why are New Year's resolutions so seldomly seen through? Well, a lot of times life just sort of gets in the way. Priorities shift and we lose sight of what's most important. We need help. If you get sick, you go to a doctor. If you have car troubles, you go see a mechanic. If you got busted pipes, my friend, you need a plumber. That's why for things that are really important that you just can't do alone, you have to call an expert. And Thor Conklin is an accountability expert. It's impossible to have accountability for achieving your larger-than-life goals all alone. It just can't work. So what do? Well, just like with a cough, a carburetor, or a clog, you get a hold of an expert in the field. www.thorconklin.com/accountability.
You know, one of the things that I see with many of my clients is they get caught up in this answer of, I've got to do this. And I ask them, what do you need to get accomplished? I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And the thing that shows up time and time again is I, right?
Right.
And I'll step back for a moment and say, is it important that it gets done, or is it important that you do it? And many times they'll stop in their tracks and go, wow, I was going to say it gets done, but the truth is it's important that I do it. And as soon as you get caught up into that routine or that trap of it's got to be me, and I don't think Richard Branson has it's got to be me, it's got to be somebody, and preferably it's not me, because I want to hang out on the island when someone else is doing the heavy lifting.
Right.
And, you know, I really think that some of the most productive people that we see, they're just having other people execute for them.
Exactly.
Tell the audience how they can get a hold of you and some of the things that you're doing.
Sure. Well, the best way to get a hold of me, you can email me, ethan@ethanking.com. That's ethanking.com. If you want to learn more about Zeus's Closet, you can go to zeuscloset.com, Zeus Closet.com. If you're interested in learning about franchise opportunities, once we have those available, just email franchise@zeuscloset.com. I'm also the incoming president of EO Atlanta. And if you want to learn more about EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, go to eonetwork.org. Or if you happen to be in the Atlanta area, you can go to eoatlanta.com.
And if you're a parent out there listening and your child is off at school getting an arts degree, Ethan can help them, little consulting gig on the side, help them create a multi-million-dollar business.
I can. I am an advocate for the artists. I think that all artists should be paid well for their work.
You know, I was teasing your all interview about the arts degree, and you've been a good sport. But anything that you have an expertise in, you can monetize that. I was on an interview with someone from the UK about a week and a half ago, and I said, you know, I just don't know. I'm an author. I do children's books, and I just don't know how to expand or do anything else. I said, you've written a book. You know how many people out there want to write a book? Could you help someone write a book? And she's like,
Right.
Yeah. She goes, well, I'm a children's author. Great. You think stories are important in a business book? She's like, yeah. Do you think there's other things that you've learned by being an author? She's like, yeah, I do. How about the written word? She goes, I know that. Structuring things, I know that. I said, you have all kinds of skills. Don't put yourself into a box. And I think artists have such a creative, visionary way about them that a lot of people just get stuck in and don't see anything outside of the box or outside of the blinders. So well done. Congratulations. Looking forward to what you do next. And great to have you as the president of EO. I know you'll do amazing things.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you back on the show. And until then, have an amazing week.
All right. Thanks, Thor. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.